listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people. Home of original people, peace, reciprocity, and positivity. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive reinforcement of original people and original people culture, and also promotes positive self-images of original people and original culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. Here we are on a Thursday evening for a weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. Now, how I normally do that, kick things off, is I give you a brief, the new listeners or whoever is tuning in right now, brief overview of my platform and all the nuances they need to know about the Narrative Podcast. But I'm recording kind of late, so I'm going to, I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to just not do that this evening. I just did an upload Monday, and that was kind of at midnight. Like, I uploaded it, I shared it on Tuesday, but I recorded it Monday evening around about this time, and I couldn't upload it until after midnight. So it's timestamped for Tuesday, but it was actually a Monday episode. So here we are on Thursday, so that's why I'm going to forego the brief synopsis of the Narrative Podcast and just dive on into the content. I will at least do this. I'll give you my mission statement before diving into the content. So what my podcast is really all about, I'm dedicated towards uplifting and edifying original people and original people culture. So, the reason why I do that is because the media depicts us, our people, original people, in the worst light possible. And what I want to do is design a platform where I'm basically uplifting and edifying my people and changing the narrative about how we're perceived in the media by the media. So basically that's what my podcast is about in its entirety, is just, all about upliftment and edification of our people and our culture. And how do I do that? I think I can share the tagline tonight with you. The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative. Excuse me, I gotta run that back. Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So like I said, I know you can hear it in my voice, I'm lagging already. I had a really long day. So, it's getting close to midnight, so I want to not try to rush the episode, but definitely try to get right to it. I'm over 300 episodes in. I just did I did an upload on Monday. So if you're kind of gray about uh, what it is I exactly do on my podcast, you got, over 300 episodes to, catch you up. I plan to try to do another upload probably tomorrow, and I should have enough time to do an overview, a brief synopsis of the, podcast before diving into the content. But I do not this evening, so I'm just dive on into the content with my very first section of the podcast. So like I said, it's all about providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So that's precisely what I'm about to do. I'm about to provide some positive frames of reference about our people. And by our people, I mean black people. This is the part why I usually do the synopsis about why I refer to our people as original people. But like I said, I'm pressed for time, and I'm not going to get into all that this evening. But I try to give you a streamlined version of why I refer to our people as original people. Basically because it's historically accurate to refer to us as original people, because we were and are the original beings of this planet. We were here about, a little over 5,000 years before everybody. So, that's why I refer to our people. One of the reasons why I refer to our people as original people. But anyway, that's what the platform is dedicated towards, is uplifting and edifying original people. And how do I do that? I'm doing it by providing positive frames of reference about original people. The positive frames of reference that I'll be providing to, showcase and highlight us at our best come in the form of news articles. And I do that because, the media has us all programmed and conditioned to believe that nothing positive happens within our community. Because they're constantly showing us, negative things happening in our community, us committing crimes against one another, us behaving violent towards one another, carrying and conducting ourselves in a degenerate type of way, and not really contributing anything to society. That's how the media brands us and markets us to the rest of the world. Pardon me. So like I said, I'm kind of tired. But that's essentially why I provide the positive news articles, is to just put out the positive frame of reference. Positive things do happen in our community. We do have a resolve. We do navigate through life, with a sense of urgency. We care about one another, just basically to, be the reverse of how we're depicted in the media, the way the media intentionally depicts our images and our likenesses in a negative way to push their agenda. But anyway, diving right on into the content with some positive news articles. After the positive news articles, I also deliver commentary about current events going on in the world, and I do it from our perspective, like how the news affects us as a people, whether it's globally, whether it's nationally, or just something that impacts our communities directly. And the purpose of me doing that, of delivering commentary, is basically to control the narrative. Because like I said, the media, they have us, looking and sounding crazy. And if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this, that if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. So that's why I deliver, commentary on, whatever's going on in the world or in our community, or just, how news affects us as a people. But like I said, I'm diving straight on into the content this evening. I try to do an upload earlier tomorrow. If I do a weekday edition tomorrow, so I have more time to give you a brief overview of the Narrative Podcast to, better prepare you for the content that I'm going to present to you. But I'm pressed for time this evening, trying to make it before, midnight. Trying to get it uploaded before midnight, should I say. So, first article on the weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast, the headline reads, Teacher retires from school after 30 years and opens a local bar and lounge in her city. And the sister's name is Lolicia. I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Lolicia Day. She is currently 53 years young and a resident of Duncanville, Texas. And the name of her establishment is called the Day Drink Lounge. So she was inspired by her parents' entrepreneurial endeavors. The article didn't say, what type of businesses her parents ran, but, that's what inspired her to become an entrepreneur after teaching. She had a bit of experience as an entrepreneur before she opened the Drink Lounge. Apparently she spent some time abroad, and she had her own plus-size boutique in Paris, France. So while she was over in Paris, France, she ran her own plus-size boutique for a few years, and then at some point she got on into education and became a teacher or an educator. It didn't say like if she was a teacher or a principal or just a faculty member or what, but I thought that was a good progressive story to share about somebody possessing different levels of intelligence and being versatile and dynamic, whereas we're always depicted in the media as being lazy, especially Black Americans. They love calling us lazy and projecting images that will reflect, laziness about us. So, if you want to see what her established types of drinks and other services or establishment provides, you can hit her up online at dfw.com or drinkdfw.com, or follow her on Instagram at daydrinkdfw. The physical address is 215 West Camp Wisdom Road, Suite 5, Duncanville, Texas 75116. And once again, the sister's name was Lolicia Day, and the name of her establishment is called the Day Drink Lounge. So let's join me into putting them together. Let's give her a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for her establishments and all her entrepreneurial endeavors throughout her lifetime. All right. Next article on the weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. The headline reads, 2 black women superintendents now leading Oklahoma's largest school district. And the sisters' names are Jamie Polk and Ebony Johnson. Sister Polk is assistant superintendent of the Oklahoma City public school system, while Sister Johnson is the superintendent of the Tulsa public school system. And that's really kind of all the article said. It was just, super brief. You can do your Googles to find out more about their respective backgrounds in the, education profession, the teaching profession. But let's give them a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for their achievements. And then just one little sidebar that I want to throw out there, that's always great to hear about us, in the educational field, because when dealing with our children, the best people to teach our children is us, because they're not, people going to be as receptive to our children as we are, especially in the public school system. Not to say there hasn't been some really impactful, dynamic teachers from other cultures that have, been an instrumental tool into crafting and molding the minds of some of our best, thinkers and, successful people in our community that can attribute, their success to, probably a teacher outside of our community. But, overall, we need to teach our own children. We need to have our own institutions at all grade levels. We need our own, vocational training facilities, our own community colleges, our own traditional 4-year colleges, grade school, middle schools, high schools. We need our own, just putting that out there. But that's great that we have, teachers and faculty members and principals and whatnot in public schools. But, the ultimate solution to that problem with getting equal education, with getting that playing field leveled, is to, have our own. And we should never feel bad about wanting to have our own. Everybody else has their own, and it's no big deal. They like to try to use this Jedi mind trick on us, like, oh, well, that's what, Dr. King was fighting for us to integrate in society. He wasn't fighting for integration, He was never, ever, not no time during his, stint as a community activist was he ever campaigning or petitioning for integration. He was campaigning and petitioning for equality. We can be equal and not live amongst you. We just want to be left alone. We want to go out in public. We don't want to have a special drinking fountain that we have to drink out of. We don't want to go 300 miles to a toilet when there's, you know what I mean? Like poop is poop. That's what he was fighting over. Like, we're not doing that. We're not going 800 miles to an outhouse to use the toilet. You know, that's all he was fighting for. He never once said, you know, give up our own schools, give up our own banks, give up our own homes, our own movie theaters, our own cafes, nightclubs, dining establishments. Like, he never said give none of that up. He just said we wanted equality. He never said, you know, integrate. Never. And that's just something they always try to twist and warp, you know, and try to skew the narrative to make us feel bad about wanting to separate from people that don't want us around. You know, yes, we should all be sitting at the proverbial table of brotherhood just as people, but, you know, we're just not there yet, and it's not a dream that's not obtainable, but, you know, that was never his air quotes dream. His dream was just, you know, for us to be treated like human beings. That's what his dream was. But I got a little long-winded. I just want to point that out. The best way for us to have, you know, quality education to where, you know, we'll be productive members of society is if, you know, we have our own institutions. But, you know, I digress. Let's put our hands together and give these two sisters a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for all their years as educators in the public school system. All right, super brief and to the point, y'all. Last article of this evening, the headline reads, Black woman becomes a black nurse at the same hospital where she was once a janitor. And the sister's name is Janice, pardon me, Janice Andres, Jaines Andrades. I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but if I'm not, you know, my apologies. But yep, she started out as a custodian at Bayside Medical Center. So, and she apparently, reading in between the lines, that's really kind of all the article says. She must have been attending, you know, night school or something, and got her registered nurse's degree at some point, and became, you know, a clinical nurse for that hospital. She got her nursing degree in 2020. So now she's a full-on nurse at that hospital. So let's put them together and give her a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for her accomplishments. And just to reiterate, the purpose of me delivering these news articles is just basically putting out positive news in the atmosphere about our people and our culture, because the media is just like a drama factory. They just recycle and redistribute our pain and our trauma. They keep on constantly beaming these little images of us in turmoil, in disarray, being disenfranchised, just down bad all the time. So, we have to keep on utilizing our platforms to promote positive reinforcement in our community and uplift and edify each other, because the media is just going to vilify us and try to make us look worse than what we really are, and try to just make us paint us out to be just really unpleasant and really just I can't even think of the word for what I'm trying to say, but just they want to just make it super ratchet all the time. But yeah, so that's the purpose of me sharing positive news articles, is just kind of to reverse that, the way they try to demonize us and stigmatize us with these these false images of us. So last thing, I got some commentary, a few articles that I want to just deliver my commentary on very briefly. Some things going on in the media that I think we should be paying attention to, and I'm just going to unpack it, how it affects us, and the significance of it as it relates to us. And I already told you why a little bit earlier. So diving on into the my first speaking point of the day, which is really just a follow-up. I covered this story on my Monday upload, weekday upload of the Narrator podcast. This story is about the creators of the video game Assassin's Creed. I think the company is called Ubisoft. Basically, what they did with this, they added a new installment to the franchise. They pulled it directly from the pages of history. They created a fictional character for their their interactive gameplay, Assassin's Creed, where basically you would choose a character who is an assassin, like it's in the name, it's in the title, and it's interactive gameplay. You can become whatever said character that you pick. And the characters are, ranging from, different corners of the globe, different nationalities, and nobody ever said anything. You got, you got an Irish character who was an assassin in that video game, and the Irish character adorns, a classic ninja or shinobi garb, and nobody said cultural appropriation. Nobody said, they're culturally appropriating Japanese culture by putting this Irish guy in shinobi garb. They also have a character who descends from the Middle East, and mind you, this is all fiction. A character that descends from from the Middle East, is of Middle Eastern descent in the video game. That character is adorned in traditional Japanese ninja or shinobi garb. Nobody said nothing. So fast forward to the point I'm making, Ubisoft added a fictional character who just happened to be black, but this fictional character was based on a real life person who was alive and was a samurai. So the black character is in samurai garb, and apparently, like everybody in the cosplay community, the Japanese community, they were outraged, and they wrote a complaint letter talking about they need to remove this character from the game. And then also, mind you, the game's not even out yet. A playable version of the game's not even supposed to drop till like November, so the game's not even out yet. And they talk about removing this black character with samurai, I guess they're called skins, a samurai skin in the video game. But the thing was, he was based on the actual real life brother by the name of Yusuke. He existed in that era. He was over there in Japan, and he was, the personal bodyguard of the feudal lord of Japan. And like, I think it was like either the, at the turn of the century, somewhere through like the 17th or the 19th century, but it's documented in history. He really did exist. He was over there in Japan. He was like the personal bodyguard of, the feudal lord of Japan at that time. And so, the creators of this game basically created this fictional character as an homage to Yusuke. And so this offended people in Japanese culture, and they wanted the character removed from the game. They said it was cultural appropriation. So just recently, Ubisoft has taken to X, formerly known as Twitter, with an apology letter apologizing, for them not basically getting it wrong, getting history wrong. But they didn't actually get it wrong, because he actually did exist. So I guess they're apologizing for them being offended by their accurate portrayal of history. I'm kind of confused. I don't understand, why the Japanese culture is offended by this fictional character. And not to be picking on the Japanese culture, but I'm going to say this, like, what if we, our people, original people, black people, what if we got offended and start taking all our shit back? How impactful that we are to everything. What if we got mad and just start, gatekeeping and start taking our stuff back and be like, you can't participate? Like Asian culture, they love hip hop. There's a ongoing debate right now about, who were the originators of the art form, but I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But I'm framing that up to like, what if we kept that? So like all these, Japanese MCs, like you can go on TikTok right now and see over 1,000 Asians on there from all, over the continent of Asia. Chinese, Japanese, Laotian, Cambodian, Korean, What if we said y'all can't rap no more? What if we told all Asians y'all can't DJ anymore? That's black. That's black. You know, that's cultural appropriation for you guys to DJ. Don't break dance no more. Huh? Don't sell no more Korean fried chicken. Because that's cultural appropriation. Yeah. Alton Brown corrected somebody on the show about that. You know, a Asian chef was like, you know, it's one of the most popular delicacies. It beats soul food, and he corrected her on the spot. You know, he was like, and do you know why it's so popular? Because, you know, black GIs over there taught them how to fry the chicken. So that's Korean chicken. You know, without us, there wouldn't be no Korean fried chicken, no karage. For Japanese. Huh? And then not for nothing, they keep on giving martial arts to, you know, Asian culture when, you know, there's historic documents, just like literally the hieroglyphics in Egypt, which is now the area now known as Egypt, was originally called Kemet, that depicts in ancient fighting form self-defense like thousands of years before the air quotes martial arts was created. And the martial arts is a kind of an accurate term. That's something the colonizers came up with that has nothing to do with their defense fighting style. But you know, there was a cat named Bowie Hamaru from the northern part of Africa, and he went over there. He developed this fighting style called the Mantu arts, which, you know, incorporated, you know, like a stick, or they call it a bow staff, and he had made some offensive strikes and like somersaults. That's what that consisted of, that fighting style. And basically, like, you know, the elite guard of the pharaohs, you know, he trained them in that art, and then he went out to the continent of Asia. And you got to keep in mind the geography of the earth was different back then, so it was like really doable to like go there in like no time. But you know, it was said he went from northern Africa, went across, you know, the Middle East, and, you know, basically arrived in Japan, and, you know, taught that art form there. Not only that, you know, they were saying also in lore and legend, also it said, you know, he basically was the forefather of Buddhism, taught meditation and elevation and all that centered type stuff. And then also, not for nothing, all the Japanese, Chinese philosophers studied in the first college in the world, which was in Egypt or ancient Kemet. All of them went over there. All the what do you call them? Advisors to the emperors. All them guys studied in Kemet. But what if we took all our stuff back? What if we just sit up there and watched everything y'all do and say, y'all can't do that, that's black. I can't break dance no more. Stop rapping. Stop trying to make these type of street clothes that we wear. You know, and if you're like a martial arts buff, you know, a whole lot of these new martial art movies, guess what? The theme songs in these movies, they're hip hop. And not any hip hop, it's golden era hip hop in these video games. They're not paying the golden era artists for it. The golden era artists ain't getting their royalties for having their music in these video games and kung fu movies. What if we said, give our stuff back to y'all, to them? Like, and then as long as we're talking about apology, if we're making video game creators apologize, how about where's our apology for the way we get portrayed in video games? How ignorant they got us talking in Grand Theft Auto. You know, it's always every video game genre, I don't care what it is, it's the black character in the gameplay just doing something really stereotypical all the time. Where's our apology? So they need to cut that out with that bullcrap. You know, it was a time where you can't, and then I'm going to also go online or go on and to say this: you can never ever accuse the original man of, culturally appropriating anything. You can't accuse us of culturally appropriating anything because we are the culture. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization, and that's in science. Everybody has, African DNA. Everybody has the Negroid gene. Everybody. That's genetics. Everybody got the Negroid gene. You can't isolate it. They've been trying to do it for years. It'll never happen. Everything came from us. And as far as our connection to Asian as original people, we existed everywhere. The 7 continents, there was a large concentration of us everywhere, on every continent you can think of, when we didn't get to all them places, on slave boats. So there was already large concentrations of us in like every part of Asia you can think of. There was already large concentration of us in the Middle East. There was already large concentrations of us in Europe, UK, the Mediterranean, Australia, Germany, Switzerland, all Spanish-speaking nations. So I just don't get why, this company is apologizing to them and they borrow more from our culture than we borrow from them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, Ubisoft has officially put out an apology for this character that offended them so badly. Next subject I want to touch on is there's a brother by the name of Dwight Jackson. Dwight Jackson has filed a racial discrimination lawsuit with this hotel in his hometown of Michigan. A hotel in Detroit, Michigan. pardon me, I'm trying to so the name of the hotel was called the Shinola Hotel. He filed his lawsuit on July 3rd, so that was just this month. So he went to go apply for the job in January, which sounds about right. He said between January and April of this year. On their website, it says it's a luxury, air quotes, hotel. But which has nothing to do why they would deny him for a lawsuit. Basically, so I'm just giving you the streamlined version because, like I said, I'm trying to have this uploaded before midnight. Longer story short, the brother went to apply for the job. They turned him down. He applied for the job originally under his government name, which is Dwight Jackson. Dwight around your mouth. No, I'm just playing. But his name is Dwight Jackson. He went and applied for the job, and they didn't give it to him. They didn't give him an interview. They probably sent him one of those generic, we have your application on file. Should something come up, or how they do when they send you the little generic rejection letter, like we move forward. We appreciate you for applying for da 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 da, but at this time we have decided to move forward. Yada yada yada. Cool. So they hit him with one of them. He goes, reapplies for the same position under a different name, and the last name he used kind of sounds like from the Tiny Hat community. So this time when he goes apply, now all that your identification fields, all that's like optional. You don't have to say you're African American. You don't have to say you're a disabled veteran. None of that. You don't have to volunteer that information, in the application process anymore. You can say don't wish to self-identify to all that. So this time, he fills out the application. Don't wish to self-identify, but check the name he uses. He uses John Jabrowski. Jebrowski. So that kind of sounds like he's from the Tiny Hat community, don't it? And so when they saw that on file, they offered him an interview immediately. So not only did they offer him, an interview, they offered him multiple interviews for their hotel. Now they're in conjunction with Sage Hospitality Group. Their brand, ambassador released a statement. We take this allegation very seriously, and we do not tolerate discrimination of any kind. We are committed to fostering an inclusive workplace where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, and are dedicated blah da 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 blah 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 blah. Like, come on. We know what this is. We know what this is. They know they had a demographic. They know what type of people that they want employed working for them. You know, and a whole lot of other kind of hotels that do that is like them Luxor hotels in Las Vegas, Hilton. They do it. They discriminate big time. Yeah, Paris Hilton, her family, they discriminate. Who else? Sheridan. But I can go on all day naming the so-called luxury brands that discriminate against our people, employing our people. You know, it's a tragedy. It really kind of all depends on what state you're in. If you're on the at-will state and you try to file a discrimination lawsuit, it's kind of like really good luck with that. Because when you live in a at-will state, they can say everything is justified. Because typically when you want to file a complaint, when you want to sue somebody for discrimination, you got to first file at an at-will state. You have to go to I think they got like civil rights type committees or boards or something. You got to go before a civil rights board or committee and file a complaint. And you got like 180 days to file the complaint from the time you felt, you didn't receive equal treatment, whether it's, somebody denied you, like if somebody denied you privileges, like they denied you service, you went to a store and they wouldn't ring you up or take your order, or like on the job tip, if you felt they discriminated against you for your, background, for your ethnic background, for your race, color, creed, religion, etc., all that, yada yada yada. You got to go file the complaints, and you have to be super thorough in your complaint, or they'll dismiss it automatically. You have to have exact times, exact dates, witnesses, the dialogue verbatim, like, what made you feel it was like race related, this treatment, mistreatment of you, how was it race related, give examples, they want pictures, they want emails, all of that, just for them to investigate it, to say it has merit, to have, to get the claim investigated. And then they have to investigate it before, you're allowed to take them to district court. You have to they have to go through the investigation proceedings, and then after they close their file, you can petition your right to sue. So it happened in January, and they're just now filing the lawsuit. So I'm guessing he had to go through that, civil process for all that. And then when he files a suit, he's probably only going to get, I would say if he gets awarded anything with after legal fees, he's probably only going to hit him for about 50, 70 bands, Nothing crazy. Like it ain't gonna be no like 1.5, no 1.8. You're gonna get like probably like 40, 50 bands. But for the simple fact though, the embarrassment, the humiliation, and all that, have the credentials, perfect fit for the job, but you just don't want a brother or sister working at your establishment. So which goes back to the point of us having our own. We don't have to worry about that when we have our own. When we have our own hotels, when we have our own restaurants, when we have our own grocery stores, when we have our own schools, when we have our own apartment complexes, what do they call them? Communities. Gated communities, condos. Everybody else got their own. We don't got our own. So this is what happens when you don't have your own, and you have to go beg, who, for a job. Because it's clear cut night and day. Like he saved it. He saved all his evidence. It's like I don't even know, if you don't get no justice out of that, there ain't no justice. Like, come on. But like I said, with the law in the at-will state, when you're at will, they usually side with the employer, because at will states they can change your hourly rate of pay without notice. They can dismiss you without notice. They can change the scope of the job at any given time, even in the application process. They can post something on a job board and say, we need people with X, Y, and Z, credentials. And then you might have X, Y, and Z credentials, but then you would get excluded from the interview after they find out your background. But they can cover their behinds by saying, oh, we changed it. And they're allowed to change it if they're, following at-will procedures. So it's a slippery slope. It's really hard to prove. Most attorneys pass on that type of case. You have to have something really concrete, really solid for an attorney to, take up a discrimination case, take up a wrongful termination or retaliation case. It's really arduous litigation, because like they can literally just be playing ping pong. If you don't have that it, like, you have to have, your case has to be airtight. And even if you got an airtight case, in some instances you will have to have the minimum of $5,000 to retain an attorney for them to mess with you. Because if you don't have retainer money, when you get to calling around trying to find a lawyer to represent you in a case like that, they'd be like, yeah, it sounds like you got a caseload, but unfortunately we can't represent you. Our caseload is too heavy. That's lawyer talk for, like, yeah, we ain't getting nothing for this. Like, we're going, like, it, you know what I mean? Because you're only going to get probably like I said, probably 60 bands max. And our attorney fees, our time, we worth more than 60 bands, so it ain't even worth our time to do it. But also people have represented themselves in cases like that and won. But you have to like do your due diligence. You gotta save them emails. You gotta set like, keep those recordings if you got something recorded. Witness statements. Like, you have to have everything like telepunched. You have to have it like, you gotta really like cross your I's and dot your T's to win in them discrimination cases. And then last thing I want to touch on is the mother, our brother Roger Fortson. He just recently got unalived, or I think it was back. In May. If you don't know who that is, do your Googles on that. I'm just bringing his name up because, like, I think, we need to keep the conversation going because the conversation didn't die down. And if you're not familiar with the conversation, basically he was a young airman serving in the armed forces, our United States Armed Forces. He was an airman, and he got gunned down by a deputy sheriff. They went to the wrong apartment, hadn't properly identified themselves as law enforcement. He was on the computer FaceTiming with his girlfriend, so we didn't hear him knocking actually, because he's like, he cupcaking with his boo thing, and they kind of just forcefully tried to enter his apartment. Now, mind you, he's got military training. He's in the Air Force, so his military training kicks in when he got faced with that aggression. The police just trying to forcefully enter his home, so we got his weapon out ready for whoever, because they hadn't properly identified themselves, and then they get in there, they see the weapon, they don't give him time to whatever, however it go. Like, basically his presence was intimidating towards him because he's a brother, he's in the military, so he probably got like a military physique too, in conjunction with having a firearm, and that frightened they little pardon my language, pussy asses, and they let some off in him, and now he's not here no more because they wanted to kill one of ours, and that's all it is. And when you break it down, I'm not going to go into super detail, but you can just Google his name, Roger Fortson, U.S. Airman. You can type that in the browser. U.S. Airman Roger Fortson. His mother has been advocating for him since he's been unalived. They just recently put his body to rest. The incident happened on May 3rd. I think they put him to rest like towards the end of May, early June. And now it's just like we're just rounding out July. People done stopped talking about it back in like the first week of June. So we need to keep that conversation going, because if we don't stay vigilant on that, it'll just slip through the cracks. So all through your social media, justice for Roger, justice for Roger. Check online to see if they're doing any GoFundMes or whatever. for what happened. Ben Crump is representing his family, so we still gotta push the line though. Don't let up on social media. I know there's a lot going on in the world, but that's an atrocity. Our brother in the armed forces fighting for a country that we know that does not love or respect us gets met with aggression in his residency. They don't even show him the proper respect when they enter his domicile to even figure out if they have the right apartment. But they can clearly, upon entry, they can see, he's a member of the armed services. I know they see that. They see his poised military discipline, and I'm pretty sure he had military memorabilia on his walls or somewhere in the house. So they don't even respect him as a soldier, and they just gun him down like an animal. And then I'm more shocked I haven't heard anything from the military community. I haven't seen any veterans posting on their websites, because there's a whole lot of armed servicemen who have social media accounts and are content creators. I ain't heard nobody in the military social media sphere talking about this, so that just shows you how much they care about us. But we need to care about each other and just keep on blowing that up on social media. Justice for Roger Fortson, and commend his mother Shantika, Chantemekki. And keep on commending his mother. She's been advocating for the family ever since he's been unalived. So that's all I want to leave out on. And I'm ending this episode right here. Join me next time for another all new episode of the Narrative Podcast. I download all throughout the week whenever I have a free moment possible. And I also I attempt to try to do weekend episodes as well. My weekday and weekend formats for my podcast differ. So I got they're a little bit longer on the weekends. But during the weekday, it's just this format that I presented to you. I usually have more articles, and I also usually go through the synopsis of my podcast before diving right into the content. I didn't do it this evening, or it is now morning. So I started broadcasting at 11ish, and now it's midnight, so it'll probably be Friday, but this is actually Thursday. This is a Thursday episode. And if I do a broadcast on Friday, I try to do it, at a decent time so that for a fact that's the Friday episode, and then hits you this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday for the weekend edition. But anyway, I'm gonna round this out. Like I said, I broadcast, during the weekday and the weekends, or whichever format you prefer. Just check me out, download this episode, and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. The best sources are YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter, to stay tapped in, so you'll always have the newest episode of the Narrative Podcast. And you want to follow me on either of those two mediums to stay up to date with the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast, because this platform that I'm on transmits automatically to YouTube and to X like after I'm done broadcasting. So follow me on YouTube. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. Click the subscription button and the notification bell, notification all. And then also on X, Halsey Allen, I stay good at Halsey Allen Action. And click the link and then click the download button, click the heart-shaped like button, and there's a little box. You can comment in the box, leave me a comment, what you like, what you didn't like, give me some feedback, engage me, and then also, the little three buttons on the side, and share it across all platforms, whatever platform you're most active on. And that helps the algorithm. But if you don't do any of those, out of all those options to help me grow my platform, the most impactful one is the download button. Click the download button. It's a little arrow. It's a button. When you click the link, you will see a little, like a button, the arrow pointing down. Click that, and the episode will be downloaded. So, not just this episode, all previously recorded episodes as well. And that's how you support this platform. I'm not asking for no Patreon. I ain't asking for no PayPal and Venmo. Just support me like that. It's free. Free way to support me. Download and share and comment and click the like button, the little heart-shaped like button. That's all I'm asking. Also, I have written a book titled The Black Card, and this book is available on poetizer.com. If you're unfamiliar with Poetizer, Poetizer is basically a community for writers, anybody that likes to write. A specific genre that they promote is poetry. It's in the name, Poetizer. It's already implied in the name. But they cater to all genres of writing. Novels, people that like to write novels, people that like to write short stories, even essay writing, That's what that community's for, like the novice writers. People that just really kind of write as a hobbyists. So go over to poetizer.com. They have a virtual online bookstore, and their bookstore is filled with the people that participate in that community, because that website has a function where they can that will allow the people in that community that share work to turn their work into an actual hardback or paperback book. And so you can go to the bookstore to purchase, work, to purchase books from people within that community. And that's precisely what I did. I wrote a book of poetry, and it's titled The Black Card. And it's a 30-page, all-inclusive look at us as a people. Everything we experience as a people, positive and negative, everything we go through in life, just an all-comprehensive view of us, a snapshot, if you will, of black culture. You'll love it. It's really witty, creative. If you're an original man or an original woman, you're definitely guaranteed to identify with the book immediately. It'll resonate with you immediately. People outside of our culture, you can definitely still love it too. It can be a educational tool for you if you consider yourself progressive and open-minded about learning about different cultures and stuff. It'll make a good gift, coffee table read, travel book. You'll love it. Go check it out. It's on poetizer.com. It's moderately priced. I got it set for I think I had it set for like $13. Go check it out. It ain't gonna break the bank. And again, it's called the Black Card on poetizer.com inside their virtual online bookstore. Go check it out today. The name of the book again is called The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Go get your copy today or get your black card revoked. And my last order of business, the last thing I want to plug, I have a personal poetry blog on blogger.com. This is basically a collection of my personal poetry. I'm just showcasing my own little natural talent I have for writing poetry. Just a collection of my thoughts. It's I got over 300 pieces on there. I've been writing for a really long time. The unique thing about that poetry blog is it's meant for everybody. It's not just specifically geared towards my people. I have quite a few poems that are reflective of our community, but for the most part, anybody can relate to the poetry posted on there. From all walks of life, you're guaranteed to resonate with either a portion of a poem or the whole poem in its entirety. You can relate to it. It's relatable. It'll strike a chord immediately. And another unique thing about it is all the poems featured on that blog are written spontaneously. I spontaneously wrote them in the moment. I didn't contemplate on the title of the piece. I didn't contemplate on the subject matter of the piece. I didn't I'm gonna write this happened today, I'm gonna write a poem about this. The poem wasn't done until it was done. It just literally just popped into my head, and I just typed it and put it up there. And that's just what it is. But they're so intentional and intricate. You would think I just spend a little bit of time thinking about what I wanted to write, but I didn't. I really didn't. I'm not capping. It's all those poems were spontaneously written in the moment. You will love them. Go check them out. It's on blogger.com. And the name of my poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner, and the address is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. My tagline for the blog is Halsey's Poetry Corner. Poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read one of them, you will understand why I use that for my tagline. So the way you can support it is just simply by going to the link www.mrhalseysblogs.com and sharing the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. Just share it, whatever medium you're active on. Click that share button. Share. You can also click that little heart-shaped like button. And for God's sake, please, it's a comment box. I'm a writer. Give me some feedback. Leave me a comment in the comment box. Just say something. It's just basically signing my little page. Let me know you was here. Like, leave me a comment in the comment box when you click that link and visit my poetry blog on blogger.com. So again, the address is www.mrhalsey'sblogs.com, and the name of my poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner. Well, that's it, and that's all. That's all I got to promote for you guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Narrator Podcast. I'm sending love, light, healing energy to everything you got going on in your life right now. Projecting nothing but positive energy and raising the frequency and vibration in and over everything in your life right now. And like, just, connecting with the family, inviting you to check me out for my next broadcast, which should probably be tomorrow. If not, it'll be Saturday or Sunday for a full episode, but whenever you decide to join me. This episode of the Narrator Podcast is officially over. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting me for all this time. Join me again for the next episode of the Narrator Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, and I'm asking you to help me change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative on my end one episode at a time, as a narrator, you can help me change the narrative on your end one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast, signing off, and it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.